So you still think you have time. So did I. That's why we say things like, I'll do it someday. I'll take that trip someday. I'll call them someday. I'll finally do the things I've always wanted to do someday. Here's the problem. Someday isn't on a fucking calendar. And most of us don't realize just how much of our life we postponed until we look behind us and realize we already spent it. I'm going to try to get through this, folks, before this wicked thunderstorm hits here, but here we go. I'm 55 years old, and lately I've been thinking about time differently. Not because I think I'm old. Hell, some days I still think I'm 25 until I bend over to pick something up and my back reminds me that, we're not doing that shit anymore. But at 55, I can look backward far enough to see something that I couldn't see when I was younger. How much time I thought I had. When you're young, 5 years doesn't sound like much. 10 years sounds like forever. And you'll think, well, you think that there will always be another summer, another Christmas, another chance, another opportunity, and maybe there will be. But here's the part that nobody can promise you. Maybe there won't. And I've watched just how quickly life can change. My mother died at 50, my grandfather died at 52, and my cousin, who was my best friend, died at 31. And I'm 55. I've passed all three of them. And there's something strange about reaching an age that somebody else that you loved never got to see. Suddenly, age doesn't look like something that's happening to you. It looks like something that you've been given. I get to be 55. They didn't. That'll change the way you look at another birthday. And I know what somebody's thinking already. Okay, Ron, life is short. I've heard it 1,000 times. Well, so have I. But if we've heard it so many damn times, why do so many people still live like they got an unlimited supply of tomorrows? We know we're going to die. Every one of us knows that. And if you haven't come to terms with that truth, let me give you a couple of hard, cold facts without sugarcoating it. First, you were literally born dying. Think about it. And second, I promise you, you aren't getting out of this bitch alive. Neither am I. None of us are. And somehow, knowing that, people still postpone their lives. After the kids grow up, after I retire, after I make enough money, after I pay this off, after things settle down, there's always another after. Tell me you haven't done this. Tell me that you've never convinced yourself that there would be more time later. And I'm going to look you dead in your eyes and call you a liar. I did it for years. I don't anymore. I'm done with that nonsense, and it's nonsense. If something pops into my head that I want to do, I just go do it. I want to go to the river, I go. I want to go to Savannah, I go. I want to, I just went to the lake planning to stay for one night and end up staying for 4. Not because I'm irresponsible, but because I finally understand what waiting costs. That cost is heavy. Every time that you say later, you're spending something that you have zero idea how much of you've got left. Time. And once that's spent, you don't get a fucking refund. For years, I believed that if I handled the next problem, carried the next responsibility, made the next dollar, and fixed the next thing, eventually everything would settle down and I'd finally be able to breathe and do these things. Then at 51, my life looked nothing like I thought it would. I walked away from the house, the whole life I'd built, and I spent 6 months living in my pickup truck and another year in a cheap camper. Most of you have heard those stories. But in a nutshell, I was starting over at an age when I once thought that starting over at an age that I once thought, I'd have everything figured out. And somewhere in all of that, I realized that the life I kept waiting to live wasn't waiting on me. The clock had been running the whole damn time. And that's not an over 50 problem. You can postpone your life at 22. You can do it at 35. You can do it at 70. And I'm not telling anyone to quit their job, drain their bank account, and go live on a beach because some idiot on YouTube told them to and said that life was short. You have bills, you have responsibilities, and that's reality. But I'm talking about something else. The habit of assuming there will always be another chance, because there won't be. There just won't always be. And living doesn't have to mean some giant bucket list event. Some of the moments that I'd give damn near anything to experience again weren't even big at all. They were ordinary days that I didn't know were important yet. And that's the cruel little trick about time. You usually don't know which moments matter until you're standing in them. You don't know that that's the last Christmas with somebody. You don't know that that's the last time your kid will ask you to play. You don't know that that's the last ordinary conversation you'll have with somebody you love. Life doesn't usually announce those moments. Nobody walks into the room and says, pay attention, you're going to want this back one day. It just happens. And one day you remember it. And here's where I'm probably going to piss some people off. You make all the excuses that you want. Tell yourself you're too busy. You tell yourself that you don't have enough money. The timing isn't right. You'll do it when things settle down. You'll start living when this happens or that changes. Fine. But let me tell you something. The Grim Reaper doesn't give a shit about any of your excuses. And those are excuses. He has never once missed his mark. Not once. Eventually, he's coming for me. He's coming for you. He's coming for every single person that's watching this. So if there's something about your life that you know damn well you've been putting off, get off your ass. Not next year, not somebody, right now. Now. Call somebody, go somewhere, start something, fix something, end something that needs ending. Do whatever the hell it is you've been promising yourself that you'll eventually get around to doing. Because every time you say later, you're making a bet. You're betting the opportunity will still exist. You're betting that that person will still be there. You're betting your body will still cooperate. And ultimately, you're betting that you'll still even be here. Maybe you will. But that's one hell of a bet to make with a life you only get once. And here's something that I couldn't understand when I was younger. There are things that I could do at 25 that I can't do today. And there are things that I can do today that I may not be able to do at 75. That's not negativity. That's reality. Time doesn't just take years. It changes your options. Opportunity isn't always money. Sometimes opportunity is having the health to do something. Having your kids still living at home. Having your parents still alive. Having somebody's phone number you can still call. Some opportunities don't disappear because you failed. They disappear because their time simply ran out. I'm not trying to outrun death. I'm trying to stop outrunning life. For years, I was always headed toward the next thing. Now sometimes I want to actually be right exactly where my feet are. Because this stupid ordinary Saturday, this conversation, this cup of coffee, this afternoon with your kid might be one of the things that you'll miss someday. And I'm not going to give you that bullshit line about live every day like it's your last. If I genuinely thought today was my last day, I damn sure wouldn't be doing laundry or paying the electric bill. Life is ordinary, but maybe the goal isn't to live every day like it's your last. Maybe it's simply to stop treating every day like it's replaceable, because it isn't. You get today once, then it's gone. So I'm not going to tell you what you should do. I don't know your life. But I will ask you something. What have you been putting off because you're assuming you'll have time later? A phone call, a trip, an apology, starting something, ending something, take your kid fishing, doing something you've wanted to do for 20 damn years? Whatever just popped into your head, that's probably the thing I'm talking about. I'm 55. I don't know how much time I got left. Neither do you. Maybe I've got another 40 years. God, I hope I do. And I hope you do too. But I'm done building my life around that assumption because I finally understand something the younger me couldn't. Having time and being promised time are two completely different things. And none of us get the second one. So, yeah, you think you have time? So did I. But like I said, the Grim Reaper never misses his mark. So, stop waiting for someday. Get off your ass and go live life while you still can. Y'all, thanks for riding this thunderstorm out with me. It's not that crazy, but it is raining like hell. I'll see y'all in the next one.